بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. I am grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me this blessing of being with you today for the third session of ethics and etiquette of servitude. As you remember, we were talking about the Hadith of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam to Unwan al-Basri, and we saw that Imam alayhi salam said, if you want knowledge, first you must seek in yourself the reality of servitude. So فاطلب في نفسك حقيقة العبودية. And the second was واطلب العلم باستعماله. Knowledge also must be put into practice. If you want your knowledge to grow, to increase, and even to remain, you need to practice. And then Imam alayhi salam said, "Wastafhimillah yufhimka." Ask Allah for understanding, and Allah will make you understand. So we talked about these things, and then Imam alayhi salam mentioned three important things. One was that those who are servants, they believe that whatever Allah has given them, and of course focus was on money, but it's more general, is from Allah and belongs to Allah and should be used in the way that He wants. Then he said they would also, the servants of Allah, would go by the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the one who plans. He is the one that is making the decisions, and we go by his decisions. Of course, as we said in the Q&A last week, and there was a very good question, it doesn't mean that we don't plan. It doesn't mean that we don't do things with careful assessment, evaluation, planning, etc. No, it means that our planning, which is very important, comes as micro planning. He is the one who makes the major plans. So he gives us the task, but we should be wise enough and organized enough and foresighted so that we can make a plan which is like executive plan, something for implementation and actualization of his general plan. Like, for example, as we said, board of directors or trustees of a trust or a company, they decide that in 5 years we want to reach this point. Then the managers and their teams, they work on implementation of that. So Allah makes the main plan. The third thing was that the servant will put all his attention and preoccupation at the service of his master and what he commanded and what he prohibited. Then Imam alayhi salam said, فَإِذَا لَمْ يَرَ الْعَبْدُ لِنَفْسِهِ فِيمَا خَوَّلَهُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى مِلْكًا هان عليه الإنفاق. If he would not see for himself ownership in what Allah has given him, then spending in what he has asked him to spend would be very easy. Hana becomes hayyan, becomes very easy. So this is the first thing. The second thing is that, because I explained this, I don't go again into details. I want just to focus on the new thing, but this is a preparation and reminder. The second thing was إذا فوض العبد تدبير نفسه على مدبره or إلى مدبره حان عليه مصائب الدنيا. When we delegate and submit planning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the problems, sufferings of dunya become easy, because we are acting within the general plan that He has set up for us. And number three, وَإِذَا اشْتَغَلَ الْعَبْدِ بِمَا أَمَرَهُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى وَنَهَاهُ لا يتفرغ منهما إلى المراء والمباهاة مع الناس. If he is engaged only and preoccupied only with what his master has asked him to do, then he would not have interest in wasting his time and dividing his attention in mira. And we said mira is just to argue for the sake of arguing, keep arguing and discussing and forth and back, defending, attacking. We talked about mira. And mubahat ma'an nas, that to say to people, I am better than you, I have these achievements, what have you done? Or compare himself to other people, sometime in their presence, sometime in their absence. He has no time to waste. And even he not only has no time to waste, he doesn't want even to spend his mental energy for this, which is not less important than time. I would like to mention something here. Last week I said that in future, I think the greatest challenge would be, and still I think it's happening, who has determination. And the success in future comes with determination. So it would be the battle of determination, not money or weapon or etc. This is my understanding, and inshallah another time we can explain. Another thing that I want to add is that more and more being focused and concentrated becomes important, and at the same time more difficult. When we move forward, our attention is more scattered, distractions are not only increasing, they are being multiplied. Distractions, so many distractions. And success needs focus and concentration, and needs to be selective, to be very careful, not only about your time, but also about your attention. So this is a second thing that, along with our discussions, I would like to highlight. Now, let's continue with this beautiful hadith. Imam alayhi salam says, فَإِذَا أَكْرَمَ اللَّهُ الْعَبْد بِهَذِهِ الثَّلَاثِ. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honors and shows generosity to his servant by giving him these three things. You know, when it comes to spiritual qualities, although we have to work for them, but many times what you do is just to prepare yourself for receiving a gift. Because sometimes people ask, for example, about isma. Is isma a gift, a mawhiba, a gift from God, or is their achievement? If it is their achievement, then how they could be infallibles from birth? If it is a gift, why Allah doesn't give this gift to us so that we also can be like them? Sometimes people ask this. The answer is isma is gift. Even knowledge is gift. The Quran many times talks about knowledge being given. آتَيْنَاهُ الْعِلْمَ. Hikmah is gift. وَمَنْ يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam here, for example, talks about إِذَا أَكْرَمَ اللَّهُ الْعبد بهذه الثلاثة. So these are all gifts, but these gifts are not given arbitrarily. These gifts, especially spiritual gifts, worldly gifts, maybe they can be given as a test so that maybe you don't, deserve it, or you are not, qualified for it. But even it's possible that a worldly gift be given to you, and it's a test for you, whether you accept it or not, whether you use it properly or not, whether you are grateful or not. But when it comes to spiritual gifts, they come with good reasoning. Everything that Allah does has reasoning. But the way He works in worldly gifts is different from the way He works with the spiritual gifts. Spiritual gifts need some kind of similarity or suitability. So you do something, and then based on that you will be given gift. This is gift because what you did was not enough to achieve this, but also this is a conditional situation. It's a gift which comes with conditions. So you have to qualify for it. Okay, so Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, إِذَا أَكْرَمَ اللَّهُ الْعَبْد بهذه الثلاث. If Allah honors, Akram in the sense of honoring and respecting, or Akram in the sense of showing generosity with someone, with these three. And as I said, it means you work for it and then you will get these things. And the three means not to think your money is yours and spend it in the way that Allah wants. Make Him responsible for planning. And third was not to be engaged with anything other than what Allah wants from you, His commands, His expectations, etc. So if these three are given to a servant, what happens is that hana عليه الدنيا وابليس والخلق. We have few challenges. All of them become simple to manage. Dunya becomes very easy to manage for them. Ease of dunya and difficulty of dunya. في السراء والضراء في شدة ورخاء في بؤس ونعمة في اليسر والعسر. Dunya is a challenge. And sometimes actually when dunya is more available, it can be a greater challenge. How many people with poverty remained pious? how many people with money remain pious? How many unknown people remain pious? How many famous people remain pious? How many people without power remain pious? How many people with power remain pious? It's more difficult to remain humble and grateful and pious when dunya comes to you. But in any case, dunya is in both conditions a challenge, a test, fitna. But if we are servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have done these three things, with money we have cleared our mind that this belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and therefore we don't become greedy for possessing, something that is not going to belong to me. If in the bank, for example, there are two clerks, and they know that the money doesn't belong to them, they don't ask, the bank manager, please give me more money to dispense. Actually, they want less. So, if they manage to have such attitude towards money, if they manage to believe that Allah is the planner, if they manage to put their attention and engagements in what Allah wants, dunya becomes easy to manage. They would have minimal engagement in dunya. They are in dunya like any other person, but minimal engagement. Their body is engaged, but when it comes to their mind and heart, they have the least of engagement. We have in Misbah Sharia about Arif that his body is with people, but his soul, his person is with his creator. So, dunya becomes easy. We can talk about this a lot, but I think for the time being is enough. Although, we should never dismiss the possibility of us suffering hubbut dunya. So if we don't talk more about it, it's not because we don't have this problem, it's because right now our topic is this. Otherwise, hubbut dunya is very, very difficult to get rid of it. And dunya has different branches. Hana alayhi dunya wa iblis. Iblis also would be not an enemy that cannot be defeated. Unfortunately, we sometimes think that Iblis is too powerful to be defeated, and therefore we somehow surrender. We give in. But Iblis, according to the Quran, is not impossible to defeat, and actually even maybe I can say it's not difficult to defeat for the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are not talking about mukhlasin, that Satan even is afraid of trying to deceive them. But even muttaqin, pious people who have not reached the level of mukhlas, still for them it's not difficult to defeat shaitan. Why? Maybe you say, no, shaitan is very, very strong, and we cannot defeat shaitan. Shaitan has deceived, over the course of history, billions of people. He has all the experience, all the information, all the allies. So shaitan is very powerful. My answer is, shaitan's power comes from our qafla. Shaitan power comes from our forgetfulness, nisyan. Either when we are heedless or ghafil. if you are alert, Shaitan cannot do anything with you. Shaitan has no way to enter into an alert heart. No way. The only way Shaitan can enter is when we are heedless or forgetful and we leave the door of the heart, the gate of the heart, open for Shaitan. Shaitan cannot open and lock the door. This is the power that Shaitan has not been given. إنما دعوتكم. I only called you. You call from outside. You cannot call from inside. Shaitan can call us, can bring temptations, but to the mind, not to the heart, unless we let him in. And Allah says, إِنَّ كَيْدَ الشَّيْطَانِ كَانَ ضَعِيفًا. His plans are weak. And also, Shaitan is known enemy, is aduwwun mubin, and he's introduced to us from the time of Adam alayhi salam. هذا عدو لك ولزوجك. An enemy which is known and introduced is less dangerous than an enemy that is hidden, is secret. If Shaitan has experience, we also have experience, because we have history of mu'mineen and their battle all along the history. We know a lot about Shaitan and about the way Shaitan acts. And we have been given lots of guidance by the prophets and imams and Allah and spiritual mentors. And the plans of Shaitan, if you analyze, are not very difficult. Maybe on the surface they look, very nice, but if you go a little bit deeper, the branches of hubbud dunya are known. So this is why we have to blame ourselves if we follow Shaitan. Allah said, "Inna ibadi laysa laka alayhim sultan." Those who are servants of Allah, Shaitan has no authority over them, no control over them. This is true about every human being, but those who achieve servitude, this becomes real. It's not just potential, because some people give sultan to Shaitan. But Allah has not given sultan to Shaitan in our creation, and certainly servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have kept that. So Shaitan becomes easy. And again, this is something that we can discuss more, but I think for the time being is enough. And then والخلق. People become also easy. What does it mean? People become easy to manage. Again, we have good people and bad people. We have people who have rights upon us. We have people who have enmity towards us. We have different kinds of people. But for sure, a major part of our spiritual journey, a major part of our spiritual struggle is to know how to deal with people, how to interact with people. Great part of religion, especially in some religions like Islam, is social. And the way we interact with people in general, and people who have some closer relation like parents, children, friends, believers, or people who need more care. There are lots of different groups of people that they have additional rights over us by themselves, or Allah has given them a special rights that we have to observe. So, how to deal with people is a great part of our journey. Actually, I believe in Islam, our relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our relation with people are very closely connected. They are not equally important, because our relation with Allah is the most important, but our relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in itself, our relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in itself involves the relation with people. Our way towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala passes through people. And of course, our relation with people has to be filled with love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, like two sides of the same coin, although one is more important than the other. Relation with Allah is the most important thing, but relation with Allah cannot be separated from relation with people. And there are lots of hadiths and things to bring to justify this and explain this, but I think it's clear. Whoever, it's my understanding, let me give you a story. I think it was in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was November 2015, that we had a conference at the University of Oxford, and that was with Protestant churches, different churches, and it was hosted by one of the colleges in University of Oxford. It was about faith and modernity, and alhamdulillah, then it's published as a book. So in one session, we were talking about spirituality. And then I asked one of our Christian presenters who was talking about spirituality, what do you think can be a good sign of progress in spirituality? So if I want to see whether I have made some progress or not, where I am standing in this journey, what sign or signs are there to measure myself? I don't want that much to measure other people because it's very difficult and not that much priority for me. My priority is to understand myself, how much I have made progress. So he mentioned some things, and then he turned the question towards myself, back to me. And he said, what do you think can be sign or signs of progress and rise in spirituality? And then it came to my mind that, and I shared this answer with him and with the group, that in Islam, it seems to me that when you rise in the ladder of spirituality and you get nearer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what happens is that you would have, maybe I can say three things. I think I mentioned all the three. One, you would have more peace in your heart, tranquility. Tranquility of the heart is very important part of progress. Number two, which is the result of the first somehow, or connected to it, because sometimes it's a result but sometimes also contributes to it, is that the time of your prayer would be very beautiful. If I am getting nearer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it should reflect itself in my moments of prayer, in my moments of being with God, talking to Him and feeling His presence. Number three, if I am closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my understanding of Islam tells me I should be closer also to people. I should be more kind towards people, more open towards people. And I mean by people, masses of people, general public. What I understand from the seerah of the Prophet, what I understand from the Quran, فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ, is that if you are closer to Allah, you become more kind, more merciful towards people, more accommodating, more open. If I become more rigid, and if I become more, I don't know, kind of, na'uzu billah, arrogant with people, I feel superior to people, I have no regard for people because they have not, for example, that much of, I don't know, knowledge or piety that I have or I think I have, this is not good. Anyway, how to deal with people is a great part of our spirituality, great part of our struggle. Whether good people, bad people, people who have rights about us, people who have showed enmity to us, how to deal with them. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, Hana عليه الدنيا وابليس والخلق. Dealing with people becomes easy for servant of Allah. Why? Because part of the problem that we have with people is expectations that we have from them. I know they have also lots of expectations from us, but I will talk about how to deal with that. But first, for your peace of mind, you should reduce your expectations from people as much as possible. قطع الطمع عما في أيدي الناس. The first step is not to expect from them for your dunya, even from your parents, even from your, I don't know, spouse, from your children, from your brothers, sisters, others. As much as possible, don't expect anything from them. If they give, thank them. If they don't give, don't blame, even in your heart. They are not my Rabb. They are not my sustainer. And I don't expect from anyone other than my Rabb to give me. My father can be very rich, but I shouldn't expect him to give me. He must be himself understanding, and maybe he has good reasons to give me, maybe he has good reasons not to give me, or maybe he's a miserly person, I don't know. But I should not have expectation from him, because many times problems start when people don't meet our expectations. If I don't have expectations from them, then my relation with Allah is clear, because I have not, suffered from shirk. Plus, my relation with people remain also intact, because they have not done something wrong, or they have not failed in doing what I expected from them. If they give me a little, I am grateful. If they don't give anything, I am not blaming, not complaining to them, even in my heart. Okay, if you have such understanding, because servant of Allah looks at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and believe that everything belongs to him, and he is mudabbir, so he would not have expectation from people. So this makes your relation with people very, very good. I have to visit my, rahim, or my friends, my relatives, my friends. I have to visit them. Maybe they are lazy. Maybe, I don't know, it's not a priority for them. I don't know, for any reason they don't visit me. Okay, no problem. I visit them. Yes, maybe they don't like me to visit them. That's another thing. Then I can maybe reduce it, keep it to the minimum, etc. But if they don't mind, and just they are lazy, or I'm not a priority for them, whatever is the reason, they don't visit me. Okay, I visit them, no problem. We invited them for something, they didn't come. They invited us, we go, no problem. This is servant of Allah. Servant of Allah is, in a sense, very humble, but in a sense is too high to be involved in such calculations. This highness comes from, of course, humility. It's not a matter of pride or arrogance. It means that I am a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is my pride, my honor. I don't think I am better than anyone else, but I have lots of things to do and lots of important concerns. I don't bring my attention to this level. Then it comes to what we should do for people. If you are a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are very careful about your duties towards people, the rights that they have over you. And you will be always doing your best to deliver to them what you owe to them. And if needed, you are happy to sacrifice because you don't think money is important for you. You don't think that, for example, worldly commitments are as important as such duties. And also, you are an organized person, you are a committed person. So, inshallah, you will have lots of time to do justice to these things. So, this is all also in addition to the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would make things easy for his servants, especially by putting their love in the hearts of people. When people see in you good akhlaq, when people see you have no expectation but you are just there to help, they will be easily pleased with you. Most of people, maybe more than 90% of people, would be very easily pleased with you. In the end of the day, you do your best. If someone is not pleased, then you do what Allah wants from you. You cannot do mu'jiza. So dealing with people becomes easy in the sense that it becomes manageable. Then Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, وَلَا يَطْلُبُ الدُّنْيَا تكاثرا وتفاخرا ولا يطلب عند الناس عزا وعلوا ولا يدع ايامه باطلا. Such person would not go after dunya out of takathur or tafakhur. He wants to have more, especially he wants to have more than others. He wants to be always above others, superior to others. No, such person has no interest in such things. It's not that he has interest and he's forcing himself. He has no interest in this thing. What is the importance of me having more money or my house being, larger than others? So if they make this size, I should make it bigger. If they manage to make it bigger, I make it bigger. Not because I need this, because I just want to be the person who has the best house in the village or in the city. Their madrasa is this much or has this many, we have to make it bigger. This many number of people go to their majlis, we have to make our majlis bigger. Why? Sometimes takathur and tafakhur can come even to religious activities. We have to be very careful. It's the same thing. For some people, religious issues are not important, so they keep it to money and house and car and business and villas, etc. For some people, religion is more important. They should not bring these things to religious affairs. Religious affairs, more than anything else, should be only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's easy to say, but it's difficult to practice, especially very difficult to maintain. Maybe you start with sincerity, but to keep it all the way is very difficult. So, they don't go for takathur and tafakhur. Takathur means to say that, I have more, al-hakum al-takathur. And tafakhur is that you want to show you are better, you are higher. وَلَا يَطْلُبُ عِنْدَ النَّاسِ عِزًّا وَعُلُوًّا. He wouldn't want to have dignity or honor, izzan وَعُلُوًّا, superiority with people and among people. Yes, we want dignity and honor, but we want dignity and honor to be real. You know, it's like, for example, if you have a notes, cash, these notes should be notes that central bank of the country accepts, not notes that, you know, I don't know, criminals accept, or people who are, you know, ignorant accept. They don't know this is fake. Izzah, dignity, karama, honor are to be عند الله. إن أكرمكم عند الله, because He is the supplier. إن العزة لله. Then وللرسوله وللمؤمنين. من كان يريد العزة فلله العزة. So Izzah is only coming from one supplier, and that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He should recognize that you have Izzah, like this notes that the central bank should recognize. So what's the benefit of me being respected by people, but I have no respect with the supplier of respect and dignity and honor? No benefit. But if I have respect with him, if I am with him mukarram, then other people also sooner or later would appreciate. And even if they don't appreciate, which is very rare, but suppose someone for all his life remains unknown, no problem, because the main thing is to come, and he still has not come. So he would not seek لا يطلب عند الناس, in the sight of people, in the opinion of people, or among people, means at the level of public evaluation. He would not seek عزًا وعلوا. Izz means dignity and honor. Ulu means highness and superiority. No. تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فساد. The hereafter is for the people that they don't want uluv. They don't want to be higher than others, superior to others. Yes, I want to be as close to Allah as possible, as wise as possible, as patient as possible, as generous as possible. That's not a problem. But this is different from uluv. Uluv means that I want to be superior to people, and if needed, I am happy to bring them down so that I can be superior to them. And normally, these are not in real things also. Those who are seeking uluv, they are not seeking uluv normally in knowledge or hikmah or generosity or, you know, kindness and selflessness. No, normally it's in worldly things, in money, in, I don't know, power, in fame, etc. And mostly is power. So those who even yuridun, because it says تلك الدار الآخرة نجعل الذين لا يريدون علوا. So if someone has irada of ulov, yuridul ulov, it's a problem. And this is why Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said in Hadith, this ayah is very alarming. Doesn't say yufsidun or ya'lun. No. Even people who have iradatul ulov wal fasad is a problem. So وَلَا يَدَعُ ايامه باطلا, and would not let his days or her days to be wasted, to be باطل, means to be served or to be spent, to be expired without achieving anything, without serving the truth. It's not spent بالحق, it is spent بالباطل. It is without good reason, good purpose, without benefit, without something that in calculation at least can be equal to what we are losing. We are losing our life. At least we should get something equal, if not better. فهذا أول درجه المتقين. Imam alayhi salam says this is the first degree of the pious. Means this is the bottom line. This is where degrees of taqwa starts. May Allah help us, because if we don't have this much, it means that we are not counted even as the lowest of the pious. Because Imam said this is أول درجة التقوى. More than this seems to be a matter of more relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, more focus, more concentration, having nothing other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the heart, as Imam Hussein alayhi salam said in Dua Arafah, أنت الذي أزلت الأغيار عن قلوب أحبائك حتى لم يحبوا سواك. You are the one who removed others from the heart of your lovers or your beloved ones. أحباء, if we take it Habib or Muhib. So depending on that, those they are أحباء of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is nothing in their heart. حتى لم يحبوا سواك. They didn't love except you. So the lovers of Allah are muttaqeen, who have reached this level of love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that there is nothing in their heart apart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, القلب السليم الذي يلقى ربه وليس فيه أحد سواه. The pure and sound heart is the one that meets his Lord when there is no one other than him in that heart. So this is the beginning of taqwa, but it's a very good level, and with this we can have happiness of the hereafter, but inshallah we can rise more. I stop here because I would like to have some time for questions, and inshallah bi'iznillah we continue this discussion inshallah next week. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.